just checked and it's almost been 2 months since my last speed reviews. I'm not surprised by that though, because my speed reviews drawer was absolutely overflowing, so I am way past overdue for speed reviews. I have lots and lots of products today to share with you that I fully tested, worn in multiple ways, done multiple wear tests, paired with other products. I'm happy and excited to be giving you my final review on 46 makeup products. Jose, keep the tears in. You'll be okay, because I have 46 things that the audience needs to know about if you're new to my speed reviews series. I swear when I mention a new product on my channel, you will hear about it after I've fully tested it and feel confident enough to give you my final opinion, and that's what we have here today. I have 46 different products. Most of these are from the past season of makeup launches. After that whole season, I'm able to kind of give you my final thoughts. I'm getting really warm right now. So let's go ahead and get started with Complexion, because I think we have 23 different Complexion products to go over. It's a huge category. I go in the order of how I apply my makeup. So let's start off with the primer slash base products. So I have 2 primers. The first one is from Jane Iredale. It's the Smooth Affair Brightening Face Primer. You're gonna see a few Jane Iredale stuff, because I really got to thoroughly test it when I went on a trip with them earlier last month. So I've been tested and educated on these products. So they have some gems, let me tell you. And this is one of them. This is such a smoothing primer. It's great if you have dry skin as well, because it does have a nice hydration element. But if you like the feel of a very smooth base, this is what it's going to give you. The product's just going to roll and blend right over the skin, and I don't find it causes any pilling or any sort of action like that. So my skin really enjoys this. Even though it is slightly hydrating, I would say the main kind of key element of this is how smooth it makes the skin. But if you want something more hydrating, something that feels a little bit more skincare-y, I would recommend the Kulfi Serum Primer. Kulfi has been killing it. They really have some nice high quality products. This one is thinner than the Jane Iredale, and it's completely different because it's like a serum-y consistency, and I just feel like it's more hydrating and feels like a serum skincare product, as opposed to the Jane Iredale. I feel like changed the way that makeup applied over this. This is just prepping the makeup for a nice hydrated base. This is really nice. It's not too heavy. It doesn't make the makeup wear too quickly or get too oily. So if you have dry skin and are looking for something more hydrating, this is a good one. It feels like skincare, like I've been saying. Now these, I don't even know what you would categorize these at. These to me, they feel serum-y, but obviously they're a color product. They're from Jouer. They're the Glow Serums. I have one that is for bronzing, and I have one that is for luminizing. I love the way that these feel, because they do feel like a skincare serum-y product, but they're a little bit picky with what they can be paired with. I, in general, am not a real big bronzing serum person, so I use this one less. But I like the way the shade Nude Glow looks as a luminizer on the skin. I think it's really beautiful on bare skin, and like I said, it feels like a serum, so it's hydrating and it's lightweight. However, it easily gets lost as soon as you put product over top of it. It also, I think, when it is put on top of product, it can look a little bit glittery, and then sometimes it can get picky with the products over top. So it's not a perfect product on bare skin. I really like this, but it's a little bit picky. Moving on to the, I guess you'd call this foundation skin tint category, just that all over base color. So the first one that I have has been in my drawer since summer. I don't know how it's stayed in my drawers this long, because honestly, I've been loving it, using it, and I felt very confident in giving you a final review for a long time. But here it is. This is actually one of my new favorite SPF included, I guess, skin tints, but it does give more of like a medium coverage, from Dr. Jart, the BB Premium Beauty Balm. Incredible. So aside from the fact that it also does have SPF 40, there is something about the way that this smooths over the skin. It feels really lightweight. I would say it gives a lighter side of medium coverage, and this was a summer staple for me. This is one of the best BBCC skin tint, that sort of family of products I have ever tried. It's amazing, and I feel like I haven't talked about it enough on my channel, but you can see just how like milky and smooth it looks on the skin, and it also has great lasting time as well. A really comfortable, lightweight product for the skin that gives a decent amount of coverage. And like I said, if you like that really smooth look, this is amazing. This is definitely the best foundation kind of product that I'm talking about in today's video. This is one of those must-have products, if you ask me. Now, what is not must-have, which I didn't dislike, but it's just one of those products where I'm like, not for me. It's from Benefit. It is their professional foundation. So they semi-recently took another whack at foundations. They've tried for many, many years. And while this isn't a bad foundation, I personally don't love it because I think it's definitely more for oily skin. It is a matte foundation and it feels relatively lightweight, but it's just too matte and drying on my skin. The wear time is pretty decent, but I'm just not in love with it. And there's so many good foundations out there on the market. It's too matte, it's too dry for me, and it will emphasize dry patches that I have. So not for me. I think you would enjoy it more if you have oily skin. But that being said, is it the #1 oily skin foundation I'd recommend for you? No, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's fine. Too Faced reformulated their iconic Born This Way foundation. I don't know why they did that, but it was very, very good before. They decided to reformulate it. I keep buying light beige. I'm not light beige. Since when was light beige so dark? Their shade range I feel like is very, very strange. Anyways, back when I used to be out in the sun all the time, light beige was my color. But then I tried vanilla and it was like too yellow on me. So I don't even know really what a good Too Faced shade is for me, but that's beside the point. I really didn't notice any difference between this and the old one, which is good news because I did enjoy the old one. It was a formula that I used in college, so it's an older foundation for me, so it was fun to kind of retry it. But I did do side by side with the original formula, and honestly, I really didn't notice much of a difference. So whatever they did change, I can't tell. It's a nice kind of middle of the road, medium coverage foundation, not too glowy, not too drying. It's a very, very good foundation, and it's a good foundation that's gotten lost in this sea of new formulas. It's solid, middle of the road, no complaints here, and I don't think it's changed. And then the last foundation that I have is an affordable foundation stick from Essence. Essence is always one of those most affordable brands. This is their foundation stick. I hate this, unfortunately. It's the worst foundation in today's video. It just sits on top of the skin and looks really, really heavy. It doesn't look drying. It actually has a nice hydrating feel to it, but it just sits on top, is attracted to the dry patches, just looks thick and heavy and not good, and I'd just rather not with this. So I don't like it. I find when I use a brush to blend it out, it looks streaky. It's just an added layer on the skin that's not very flattering. So this one is a pass for me. Don't recommend it. 3 concealers I've been testing. So the first one, the first time I used it, I wasn't too sure about this, but now I love it. It's from Jane Iredale, and it's the Pure Match Liquid Concealer. This is like butter on the skin. It's so smooth on the skin. I do find if you apply too thick of a layer on the under eyes, it will crease. It just doesn't set down to have that lasting power. However, whenever I am wearing a concealer that sometimes just like looks dry and thin and it doesn't look flattering on the under eyes, I'll talk about which one that is because it's in today's video. I use this to go over top of the bad concealers and it makes all of my problems go away. So when I feel like a concealer is making my under eyes look dry, this kind of goes in and fixes it because it's very, very hydrating. So don't expect it to be crease-free, especially if you layer it up a lot. But if you keep a nice thin layer of this with a good setting powder that you know, love, and trust, it will be pretty good with the longevity, and it's just so milky and thick in a good way. It's really great for spot concealing. You'll notice I have multiple shades because I love mixing different shades or adding some brightness here. I need more depth to cover my acne. I love this, super duper creamy and kind of blends into whatever you want it to. So very, very flattering. The next concealer that I've been testing is from It Cosmetics. It's their new Do It All Serum Concealer. Took me a bit to get on board with it at first because it's very, very thin. So if you're looking for a lot of coverage, you're not going to get that with this. So when I was pairing it with more full coverage foundations, obviously I wasn't as into this. But then when I started pairing it with lighter coverage, like skin tints sort of situation, I actually really liked and appreciated how thin it was. It wears decently well. It's pretty hydrating, and it's really great to pair with those lighter coverage days because it does just enough to like veil over the dark circles. It's not going to cover them, but it is, as it's described, like a radiant, serum-y kind of concealer. That's exactly how I would describe it, and I lost my train of thought. What do I hate? Okay, I hate sometimes when I mismatch and I use a full coverage concealer and then like a tinted base. It looks weird. And then vice versa. If you have a full coverage foundation and then a lighter weight concealer that doesn't have much coverage, it looks dumb. Like you kind of need to add them up. So once I started pairing this with the right base products, I appreciated it much more for what it was. Not sold on the packaging, personally, but the formula is good. And then this one was like all over the internet. And oh my gosh. Okay, so I saw this product all over the internet. It was going very viral, one of those TikTok viral products. And as always, you know, I'm myth busting those. And this one, like, I feel a little lied to because it looked crappy on me. This is from L'Oreal. It's their Skin Ink. It's at base a concealer, but you can use it as foundation as well because it's so thin. But I mean, this is watery thin to the point where it like disintegrates like water on the skin. It also attaches itself to dry patches on my under eyes that honestly very barely exist. It emphasizes patches that really no other product emphasizes on the under eyes. So with it attaching itself to dry patches, making my under eyes look a million years old. It's like water disintegrating on the skin. Needless to say, this is a no for me. And that's when I was talking about whenever I would wear this and I'd feel like super insecure, I'd just go in with this and I'd be like, yeah, I don't look like that. It's this product. So, no. Couple setting powders, well, 3, not a couple. So this first one is an under eye setting powder, and truly it is a new holy grail product of mine. Not to be dramatic, but it is, and I really need to be dramatic with it because I feel like it's a launch that kind of fell under the radar. But ever since I tried it, I've been using it every single day, and I need you to know it is amazing. It's the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Under Eye Setting Powder. And we know Laura Mercier is the OG queen of the powders, and she did it with it. Now, also method of application I think helps. So anyways, this is meant for the under eyes. It's meant to brighten. Honestly, I don't even really feel like it brightens that well. So like choose your shade wisely because the pink shade darkens my under eye. I can really only use the translucent shade, but there's something about how finely milled this powder is. If you press it on the under eyes, it makes any concealer that I use last so much longer with very, very minimal creasing. Of course, the concealer that I use plays a part in how it creases, but it, against other powders, my under eyes will last longer with this. And I think it's just because it's just so fine. It keeps the layer so thin. I think this is going to be phenomenal for mature skin. And there's something about patting it on with this paddle brush. They call it the Camouflage Powder Brush from Laura Mercier. Obviously, you don't need to buy this one, but this is what it came with, and I've been using it since, and I just like lightly press it just on the under eyes. My under eyes, it looks soft, smooth, and it's so light, so it doesn't create any extra weight that's going to fold up in my eye creases naturally. So this like defies the laws of gravity, I feel like. It's incredible. I highly recommend. It's been a game changer for me. Seriously, nobody's talking about it. Now the next powder feels similar, but the performance not so much. This is from Laneige. It's their Neo Essential Blurring Finishing Powder. Super duper fine. Even more fine than the Laura Mercier, I would say. And an interesting package where if you press down on it, it literally spits powder all over my desk. A little messy, but kind of a fun concept. Super duper slippery. Like so fine that it's slippery. But I don't like this on the under eyes. It darkens my under eyes, and I feel like it doesn't set the product in, so I will crease with this. I like this on kind of the T-zone area of the face because it is so finely milled, like, you know, in this area where it will do more of a good blurring job. But let me put it this way. The way that I've been using it is because it's been in front of me. But once this goes in my drawers, I'm not going to be inclined to reach for it. So certainly, I probably would never repurchase this again. So while it gets the job done at the moment, it's going to end up in the powder graveyard. Because you know I only use like 3 powders. So this one's not that impressive. The next one is an affordable one. And I do like a colored powder. The setting powders are what I kind of switch between the 3. But I like a good colored powder. So Beauty Creations has a line of powders. And if you don't know, I think Beauty Creations is one of the most up-and-coming affordable makeup brands. They create some of the best products. And they have some interesting colors, like this fun pink about it. If I'm wearing a bright pink blush with this to kind of work with it, gorgeous. It's not for every day on my skin tone, only for a certain look. So the shade I've been using is Barely Beige. And this is a fine powder. It doesn't do anything in the way of, I would say, blurring. AKA it doesn't blur at all. So I don't use this to set, especially my under eyes. We look a little textured whenever I do that. But after I use my setting blurring powder, then I'll go in with this to add brightness wherever I want, which is typically down here in the T-zone area. I'll even put it on my under eyes over top of the powder that I set with. So this isn't gonna blur, but it certainly will brighten, and it's nice to retouch with as well. Like, I do think I look more softened now that I've touched up with this. It's a nice powder. Again, am I running out to repurchase it? No. But I've enjoyed it a lot because I do like those touches of a colored powder. Now, this one I purchased a while ago, and I don't know how it slipped through the cracks because I've had my opinion formed on this for a while. From Anastasia Beverly Hills, it's the Shadow Smooth Blur Contour. Well, the shade is Shadow. This is the perfect contour shade on me. If you are around my skin tone and you want that perfect gray, but not too gray, purely for chiseling color, this is beautiful. It also feels a little bit more powder despite it being a cream stick. So it lasts a long time, and I think that consistency is perfect for contouring. It's almost a little too gray for my nose, so I don't love it for that. But just right here under the cheekbone where I demoed, it's perfect. It's like great for oily skin as well. If you have oily skin and you find these cream products slip and slide on the face, I think that this one's gonna have a little bit more grab for you. So this is a beautiful product, very easy to work with. Natasha Denona a while ago also launched these High Sculpt liquid bronzers. And I think, you know, I don't have anything bad to say about the formula. I just don't like a liquid bronzer that you have to squeeze out and use. And to be honest, the formula hasn't wowed me by any means. It's not bad. It works fine. It does exactly what it's meant to do. It has a nice, smooth, easy to blend out application for the most part. The colors are decent. I find myself mixing though instead of reaching for just one. It's good. I just find the method of application just with this style of product inconvenient. So it's kind of an inconvenience to use for every day. I just like a stick or something that I can just stick my brush into or onto and apply. So great lasting time, holds the pigment, holds the color. I'm not complaining about the formula here. I just don't want to reach for it. Makeup Forever is playing on a bestseller, and they launched these big old chunky wonky artist color crayon sticks. And I mean, in all the shades you can kind of imagine, kind of. So we have like contour shades, we have blush shades, we have highlight shades. So it's a whole different way that you can use them, and you can use them wherever you want. And they're based off the artist color pencils that were really thin. Now those were more waxy, powdery. These are actual creams. I find for bronzer, the shades in here to be a little awkward. Like you can use anywhere caffeine kind of as a bronzer, but it's just off. I can use it, I can get away with these as bronzer, but I just don't love any shades as bronzer. The shade Endless Cacao is going to be that contour shade, very, very gray, very dead. So don't use it as actual bronzer. The blush shades are pretty nice. Blushing Pink is my favorite. And then they also have the highlighter, which is decent. I don't love a cream highlighter, you guys know this, but it's a decent cream highlighter. Can get a little underwhelming when you start blending in other products over top of it, but it works, it's fine. These are fine. They're just like a multi-purpose cream stick. They're a little stiffer, I would say, than what's trending right now. They're a little drier because they don't have like a super glowy finish except for the highlighters, but they're just like good, solid, big chunky color pencils that you can kind of use however you want. I don't have anything bad to say about them really, but they also aren't like products that you need to have. You know, they're not huge standouts for me, but while I'm using them, they're nice. They get the job done. Ardent Dune, Anywhere Caffeine, Endless Cacao, Glorious Bronze, Starfire Gold, Cheeky Fuchsia, Blushing Pink. Love this shade. Oh my, these are so, so good. And they're actually a unique product as well, which we know is very, very hard to do. These are the MAC Strobe Beam Liquid Blushes. They're essentially a really thin, glowy liquid blush, and these are stunning. Even though they are glowy, they're not too glowy, and they just look really fresh and hydrated on the cheek. It's a certain look. It's definitely more glowy and wet looking than a lot of other liquid blushes that I typically enjoy, but there's just something about this, and the way that it melts into the skin. You can have powder already down. Nothing is stopping it with its smooth application. It just soaks into the skin in the best way possible. And I think the finishes of these blushes are stunning. They're unique, they're glowy, they're wet but not sweaty. They're just gorgeous is all I can say. I mean, what you see in the swatches is what it gives on your cheek, and there's just not a lot of products that can achieve this quality with this finish. And there's so many shades in True MAC fashion, like a crazy purple, crazy orange, but also you have some neutral shades. You have some shades that really could just be liquid highlighter. If you're very, very fair, the shade Starlight, you'll love it. Okay, so I did show you all of the shades I have to help you. Insert that here. Lightning, Starlight, Ice Gleam, Apricot Jelly, Lava Light, Night Light, Good Vibes, Unsweetened, Magic Aura, Plummy Bear. What an underdog, amazing product. And it's actually been in my speed reviews drawer for a while for some reason. I don't know why, because I've been enjoying using them constantly because they're so beautiful. So that's another highly recommended product for me, because a lot of times with the products nowadays, you know, they're all good. These labs can make good products nowadays, but there's only a few that can really stand out and be better than everything else. That's one of them. That, the Laura Mercier powder, Dr. Jart BB cream, those are the ones that are like, you need those. I do actually really like these cream blushes though, from Summer Fridays. They're a little bit of a different finish than I'd normally prefer because they're kind of too dewy, but I like it. I think these perform really well. I think despite their dewier, wetter nature, they hold pigment really well throughout the day, and they do lose that dewiness throughout the day, but in a good way. Looks really youthful, beautiful paired with skin tints. I wouldn't recommend with too matte of a base. It's their blush butter balms, and they're very wet, which is not normally how I like my cream products. I like them a little bit drier, but it does work in this situation, and every time I wear these, I think they're pretty. I'm impressed with the wear time. The shade that I demoed is Berry Spritz, but I'll show you the other shades that I have. Soft Strawberry, Toasted Terracotta, Pink Sunset, Sweet Rosé, Dusty Rose, Berry Spritz. So overall, really pretty wearable colors and a very nice formula. You just have to like that very, very dewy look. It's for a certain look, for sure. And you know, I do love me a cream blush. However, powder, I think we've forgotten the magic of a good powder blush. So I've been enjoying these ones from Jane Iredale. They're the Pure Pressed blushes. I think they just have very flattering shades. I mean, they're not doing anything crazy. These are a powder blush formula, but they're quite creamy for being powder, and they have a lot of pigment to them. Like this shade Flourish, what a gorgeous peachy color. I demoed the shade Mystique, which I don't love these for setting cream blushes because they have a lot of pigment, but it got the job done. This is a really pretty fall color, by the way. I've also been using Barely Rose, which I think leans a little bit more peachy, but really soft, creamy, easy to blend, very easily buildable because they do have a lot of pigment. These Jane Iredale blushes are. Like, I like these a lot. they're a little bit looser. You can not be very heavy-handed with these. I recommend a lighter hand, but they're really nice. Powder blushes, a powder blush is a powder blush. They're hard to mess up. But I also picked up this one a while ago from Sephora, and I forgot about it, so I'm adding it in this video because I've been using it recently. I was very specific with why I picked up the shade Sex Appeal. This is like a generic powder blush formula that I very much enjoy. These are iconic classic shades in the line. So this one is great for the fair girls. I use this to kind of blend out my blush or when I want a barely there blush look, because even though I will very comfortably go out looking like a clown, sometimes a look I think I don't want to look like a clown. And this is what I will reach for, knowing how heavy-handed I am. I also think it's beautiful just to like blend out other blushes to soften them. Like, do you see how that just blended it out? Because this doesn't have a lot of pigment. There's other blushes in the NARS line that will give you a lot more pigments. If that's what you're looking for, don't worry about it. But this shade specifically I use to blend out other blushes or for a barely there blush look. And it's beautiful. And then to finish off complexion section, we have 3 setting sprays, finishing sprays, whatever. The One Size Until Dawn Mattifying Sunscreen Makeup Setting Spray. I should have never put this in my speed reviews drawer to begin with because I don't want a mattifying spray. This I can't breathe when I apply it because it's like hairspray. It does make your makeup last longer. And then bonus points for SPF 28, though this should never replace your actual SPF application. But a little extra layer don't hurt nobody. But it's mattifying, so I didn't find myself reaching for it very often. God, I hate applying that. But it does what it does and mattifies your makeup and makes it last longer, but I never wanted to reach for it. And then next one, like I love it, but for some reason it chokes me. I cannot lie. I like choke and cough every time I use it. It's the Jane Iredale Palm Mist Hydration Spray, and I love the formula of this. It is very hydrating, it is very refreshing, but I don't know, the fragrance in it is so strong, and I enjoy the fragrance. Like it smells amazing, you guys. But for some reason, whenever I spray it, I like choke. I choke a little bit. But I really like it, so I continue to use it. But it just gets in the back of my throat and chokes me. But it's really good for hydrating the makeup. Pretty strong spray. Your face is gonna get pretty wet with this if you go in like I do, which I like. I like doing that. It does hydrate the skin, but I choke when applying it, so I like it though. But if I want something that changes the finish of my makeup, really gives it that glassy appearance, I do quite like the Pat McGrath Labs Glass 001 Setting Spray. Really fine. And really does leave a glassy look to the skin. It's quite impressive. I also very much enjoy the sprayer here, but it's like, it does give an everyday glass effect. It's not all day lasting. I mean, if you really want to, like, yeah, with the proper products, you can last all day glassy, but it's just that lightweight finishing touch to still give life to the skin. It's actually quite good. I did see they did just launch the mattifying version of it. I'm not jumping for joy over that. I have dry skin. I need something more hydrating. But I will say, why do I have all these baby hairs? I can stand by this as being a good product. And you know right now I have some problems with Pat McGrath Labs. But that is a good setting spray. I enjoy it a lot. So those are all of the complexion products. 23 products, some major hits, some major misses as well. But we still have 23 more products to hit in the eyes and the lips category. So I will see you tomorrow for part 2. So we can break this up a bit. You can have a break. My editor can have a break. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not. If you want to see all of the, I guess from the latest season, my final thoughts after using those new products for the eyes and lips. And if you're watching this after this video is posted, I'll have part 2 posted down below for you, so you can just head on over there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of all of the Complexion products that I've been testing and loving. As always, I will have them linked down below for you. Shades I use, everything like that will be there. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a good one.
It's delicious.